All right, hello everybody. So I've been not having the best couple of days when it comes to my mood swings from bipolar stuff and my obsessive stuff from OCD stuff. So I don't know, just was looking for something to kind of put these feelings into, and I came up with an idea for a video earlier today. Just thinking about like songs that really feel very powerful and appeal to like my mental my mental illness side. And it just so happens that there was a song that's probably one of my favorite songs of all time that I had listened to the first time in a while last week, and I thought it would be a great one to kind of start a conversation about kind of mood and how hard it is to deal with like mood constantly changing. So the song we're going to listen to is the song Ceremony by New Order. For those of you who are not familiar with them, you might know the group from their previous band, Joy Division, who are, funnily enough, I don't know how they got to be so well known when their music is really weird. It's just so funny. Like, I wouldn't associate anyone with listening to this album, to these albums by Joy Division, unless they really were into post-punk. My favorite song by the group comes after Joy Division ends, and the group that came after Ian Curtis died, New Order, came to be. Again, the story of the band, there's a lot you could say, but following Ian Curtis's death, the remaining members of the band actually decided to stick together, and they ended up being a really influential and amazing synth pop act that kind of transitioned from the more post-punk style to a synth pop style later in the 80s. But when it comes to their music, I would say the transition era has this track, Ceremony, that we're going to listen to today. And it's pretty much defines kind of this middling time between their time as Joy Division and their time as New Order. But before I talk about why I love this track so much and what it means to me, we're going to listen. So I'm going to have a little pause here and we're going to get back to the track. All right, hello everybody. Right before we start, just wanted to say I recorded this whole video yesterday and didn't click record. This is the the second time I've done this. Did the same thing for the Heart Part 5 reaction, but you know what? I really wanted to make this one still because I thought I had a lot of great things to say. So we're going to do it again. Hope you guys are excited. Yeah, guys, so that was the track Ceremony. Yeah, it feels kind of weird recounting this when I said a lot yesterday that didn't get recorded, but I'll try to summarize what I was saying. A little bit of the history on this track. This song was written by Ian Curtis, the lead singer and songwriter of Joy Division, but the version we just listened to was actually recorded vocally. The vocals were recorded by Bernard Sumner, who was what was he? I don't remember what he was in the band beforehand. Maybe the guitarist or something. But this song, you might have noticed over here some of the annotations. The song was written by Ian before he committed suicide. It was the final song he wrote before he committed suicide. And you know, the depressing context of it all is really difficult to just piece together. And you know what? I don't know. I would think that a final song when someone was hurting so much that they felt like this was the only option. I wouldn't assume it to be so hopeful. The eternal is something that's really mentioned a lot in this track, and you can get a sense that talking about heaven, talking about this idea of what comes after at a time where there will be peace, where Ian will finally get his peace. You get a sense that that's a big thing in this track from the lyrics, and even the instrumental itself is much more bright and hopeful and active than something on Closer or Unknown Pleasures, which are just layered in atmosphere and musical fog, almost I would think of, where everything is hazy. And the truth, you can barely even hear the lyrics in a lot of those songs, let alone decipher them and get a feel of what they were actually about. And you still notice some of that fog, some of that haze that's kind of separating the listener from the band. But those guitars, those bright and triumphant guitars, kind of shine through it all. And I think this song, in a lot of ways, or maybe in particular this recording, says a lot about the band and where they were after losing one of their best friends. I always notice when I listen to this track that the drums feel off at the beginning, like something is they feel out of beat, and then as soon as the guitar comes in, it all kind of places together. And I like to think of that as kind of metaphorical for the band themselves. They're picking themselves up to play this song and to record this song that was written by their lead, their friend who committed suicide, and they're trying to pick it up and create a new story out of that song. It's tricky to say whether this is Joy Division or New Order on this song, because it really is the turning point between the two. And you know what, I think this track and the way it means so much to the band, even though it was written by a member who wasn't playing the song, I think it kind of is a good example of how music is a part of everybody. The experience you get from listening to music makes it a part of you. You have a special relationship with that piece of music. I think the band, you know, even in many ways, this song is theirs and it is not. But it means something. These words mean something to them, even though they didn't write them. I want to talk a little bit about the lyrics here. There's a lot of reference to a relationship, as you can see over here in the annotation. He was talking about a relationship that had of his that had cheating involved, and also he was talking over here about like the pressures of them being on the precipice of crazy success in rock music, and how someone like Ian, who is so mentally ill, it just ended up putting so much pressure on him. And I think that's something I really relate with. You know, society in general, we think about success as not, you know, even if we're not talking about money, we think of success as being the best in whatever you want to do. But you know what, honestly, not everything is as lateral as that. And even if it is as lateral as being the most successful, being the best in whatever you want to be, is that necessarily what makes you a happy person? it's not that simple. You know, we see musicians, famous actors who are still extremely unhappy, or life is not any easier just because they have a lot of money and a lot of success. In a lot of ways for Ian, it put so much pressure on him that I'm sure it contributed to his negative mental state. I like to think of that in reference to myself too, but you know, instead of looking at it as success won't make you happy, I like to think of it as anything can make you happy. It doesn't have to just be success. You can find your way, and you will find your way, even if it is not being the best at whatever you look to do. But in the third verse we have here, you know, avenues all lined with trees, watching forever. In a lot of ways, that is a reference to just eternal peace. Forever watching love grow. It is a beautiful sentiment. And, you know, and as I said earlier, most of the tracks by the band don't even have even close to as much hope as that line. I think I've talked about this on this channel before, but those simple things of avenues all lined with trees, just looking at like something simple and the beauty of it, the beauty of just being alive, is something that really gets me through a lot of hard times. You know, it's funny, you know, that I lost a video yesterday and I'm recording it again today, and the thing is, my mental state today is very different than it was yesterday. As someone with bipolar 2, that is not uncommon. Yesterday and on Monday, I felt like extremely depressed, just terrible, after a bad week mentally. And I feel better today. Where does that place me? Does that mean I'm better, or does that mean I'm worse? It's not, I don't think it's that simple, for me at least, to say, well, that's just how it is. One day you're fine, one day you're not. I'm sure it's the same for everyone else. It's just, there's a lot more to it. Feels a lot more powerful with bipolar disorder. It's a hope that that's what there will be. You can't know for sure. But I like to think that Ian is at peace, and I'm glad that this is this final song he recorded. I'm glad we have it, because I'm sure this song has inspired me to keep going many times, and I'm sure a lot of other people too. I'm sure the band, as they played it, you know, they were at a point where they're like, what are we gonna do? And they decided to pick up what they knew, pick up what they had, and make something new out of it, and found a lot of success. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. Instrumentally, how catchy and bright those guitars are, and how they come through. They feel very hopeful. Remind me of like a lighthouse and shining through a foggy night. That's what I would say the guitars are on this track. But yeah, hope you guys really enjoyed that song. Hope you're all doing okay. Better than the day before, if not better tomorrow. You know, that's the best we can hope for, just one day at a time. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.